All right, guys. I think we can actually start. I would like to say a very good afternoon, good morning, or good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to today's 16th of May, Monday the 16th of May, and we are on to the Monday's live analysis. I just got back from South Africa today, a couple of hours back, so just thought I shouldn't miss this market analysis today on Monday. Okay, so I could share with you guys, and you guys could also share with me what you've noticed about the market and currencies that you guys are trading as well. All right, Osama's got some more questions. You say that there are two different visuals to look for change. No, you only look at the visual that has the percentage, the percentage symbol. That's all. Ignore the other column. Okay, you've got two columns here, right? And try not looking too much in the other data. I just want you to look at the percentage of change here, Osama, okay? Just this part here, under change with the percentage symbol, the one that you could see, if it's majors, click on majors, and you could see that the highest number that you can see is 0.3, almost 0.4. That's for the euro versus the JPY. So a lot of movement between the euro and the yen, against the yen. Okay, so yen, as you have seen, if you click on yen crosses, yen is on the weak side compared to all other pairs. Okay, because all other pairs against the yen, they're all positive, so it's giving you more signal to the downside for yen. Okay, and anything that is against the yen is on the positive side. All right, on the left side of the screen. Yes, but once you click on market data, you click on currencies, and that's all I would like you to focus on. Okay, Osama? Yes, you're right. Market data option, and then a little box on the right comes out, and you click on currencies. Yes, on the left side, you're right. Okay. All right. Do you see this box, Osama? Do you see a box like this? And you can see that you're given the option of you get a box, and you get an option of market watch, major pairs, and then crosses. Okay. All right. Let's see. So another thing, guys, is to look into the economic calendar. It's a little new look on FX Street today, I think, on the website. Perhaps already happened a couple of days ago, but I've not visited FX Street. So we're looking at. I have actually filtered all the high impact news on the week, for the week, so that we've got, as you can see, high impact ones for all of these ones here. But starting tomorrow, you've got the AUD RBA meeting, so concerning AUD. So for the whole week, as you can see, you've got some AUD impact. You've got the euro, the GBP, and then the CAD. Okay, so once you actually write that down, you've got the AUD. Of course, now AUD is something you want to focus on as well, because it revolves around what's happening in China, and all these two countries would actually revolve around what's happening with the gold prices. So once you write down AUD, then you've got GBP, okay, then you've got Euro. Also something about the USD, but USD would probably be late Tuesday to Wednesday, because that's when the FOMC minutes would be announced on Wednesday. Okay, but meantime we've got AUD, GBP, Euro, and then you've also got CAD at the end of the week. So you will see some movement on the CAD beginning Friday. Okay, so that's what's happening. So we've got this couple of pairs here to choose from. Now euro, of course, we've got heavier data releases starting on Wednesday, because we've got the non-monetary policy ECB meeting, as you can see. All right, then you've got consumer price index, again here, core what do you call that, reports here released on Wednesday the 18th. So we've got heavier data concerning the euro coming up on Wednesday. And then when we open up the market as of today, you could see that most of the market's currencies, in terms of currencies itself, have been focused on the euro, because euro has got the highest what do you call that, change percentage symbol. Under the percentage change symbol, you can see that majority of move has been with the euro JPY, okay, and then second one be euro USD. So there's already a lot of investors putting up their, putting up their funds or concentrating on the euro already, even though majority of it would only start in terms of data releases, fundamental side of it only on Wednesday, but it's already beginning at the moment. So this is what we want to look at, more movement against the euro. Okay, so let's see more questions here. Okay, Osama, you're clear with that, Osama, yeah? You've got your currency table, yeah? We're just focusing on that just to look at trends, to look at people's or investors' focus on which currency pair. All right. Also, for the guys who are not familiar with the news, let's say report released by Citibank, you can always type Forex, okay, daily commentary PDF dot. Okay, let's look at what they are actually having. May 13, I think it's probably not updated as yet. I'm not sure. Let's okay, 13th. Probably not updated yet, so it's okay. What you can do then is to also look at it by pair. Okay, so you've got euro slash USD and just type forecast. Okay, and then I want you to go on to news tab. You click on the news tab here on Google. You can see that 15 hours ago you've got some, I just want you to look at topics. Okay, euro USD continues to ease off. Okay, ease off, lowering down, focusing on easing off. Fallen back into the market, fallen back downwards. Okay, then you've got 3 hours ago euro unchanged as German French markets close. Okay, just to get an idea. And then there's a question in investing.com whether or not euro USD remain bearish in the week ahead. So I just want to look at these topics and I want to marry that up with whatever I've chosen earlier on with the highest pairs as well, and the pairs that have got the economic data release as well. So we have got euro. Of course, euro has actually moved quite a lot, so I still want to look at euro USD, for example. Okay, I want to look at GBP related pairs as well, because we have also got data release for that, and AUD CAD as well. But looking at what's happening now, we're looking at a lot of focus on euro itself. Okay, so once you put on or you can always put currency forecast here. Okay, currency, okay, currencies, okay, forecast. This is all just on Google on the news section. Okay, I just want to look at today's date, or if possible latest what do you call that, news concerning which currency pair, who is paying more attention to what. Here 7 hours ago, 45 minutes ago, we say currency ETFs offer upside. Okay, let's forget that one. Look at this one here, emerging currencies at March low on rallying dollar. Okay, so they're just still looking at rallying dollar. 1 hour ago, yen weakens on Japan intervention talk before G7 meets. So then we know, okay, it is still on the downside for the yen. So that was actually confirmed with what we have actually looked onto the currency center earlier on, correct? When we go into the currency center, we click on yen crosses. We look at majority of pairs are positive against the yen. So that is actually giving us a lot of yen weakness. Okay, so that is confirmed here as well. So we know now that yen is still on the weak side, and not only that, we've got the yen weakening, and we've got the G7 meeting coming up as well. So that will impact again. All right, then let me see. I'm not even going into the exact news at the moment. I just want to look at as a whole, you know, what's going on, what's the focus at the moment. Japanese companies forecast more strong yen headwinds. Okay, that's 4 hours ago, but latest one here is about weakening yen before the G7 meeting. Okay, global markets, European shares drops, oil jumps. Okay, very important. What are the challenges here we have got? for a dollar rally and all that. Okay, let's now go into our chart. Okay, let's look at what's going on. Okay, let's because Euro USD is something that we've paid attention earlier on, so let's see what's going on with the Euro USD at the moment. Okay, as a whole, I'll just remove all these things. Okay, I'm looking at the 1 hour chart at the moment. Okay, just a little zoom. Okay, we have got it. Did definitely appreciate, as you can see, 1 hour chart is trying to make that cross past the 50 moving average here. Okay, it's made that fall. Okay, and then you've got an appreciation of prices on a 1 hour chart. It's trying to recover. Okay, it's trying to make some comeback, appreciate a little bit more. Now the price wise, if we look into the price, Euro USD's price is at 1.1328. okay, so indeed, if we want to look at more appreciation of the euro versus the dollar, indeed it's very close to the 20 psych numbers. It has actually gone above 20 now to almost 30. Now, to be more conservative, to look at whether or not we have got more room for an upward move, we want to wait until price goes a bit more, and what happens if it does touch the 1.1350 area. Does it actually go up to 60? If it does, and then you look at the nature of candles, and you've got more dominance of candle being bullish candles, then you know that at the time we have got more what do you call that, bullish sentiment for the euro versus the dollar. Okay, at this moment here we have got as you can see, that move itself is going towards a 1 o'clock. It's more on a 2 o'clock, but quite steep 2 o'clock, so moving towards a 1 o'clock. So we have got the angle itself giving us some idea that there may be much more room in actually making a sort of upward move. Okay, but this is the 50 is here, a 50 moving average, exponential moving average, so it is actually trying to challenge that 50 here. We've got a bearish candle here, but let's look at what's happening in the 4 hour chart. Okay, 4 hour chart, it is still trying to challenge one of the EMA. Okay, it is actually under most of the 3 lines, but then again it's making a bit of a comeback. It is actually trying to challenge the bears at the moment. The bulls are challenging the bears. Okay, there's a bit of a battle and obstacle at the 200 moving average area. Okay, so indeed that little movement there itself on the 4 hour chart, as you can see, is giving us some indication that yes, the bulls are trying to challenge the bears again. Okay, so this is what's going on. There are some hints of a bit of movement to the upside, even though we are looking at a majority coming down, and it's not, candles are not too far away. That's the thing, too far away from the moving averages. And there's another problem. The moving averages, the exponential moving averages, are on a sideway, and some of them are trying to entangle as well between each other, between the 50 and the 100. As you can see, they are not giving you a clear direction. Even the EMAs itself, let's say on the 4 hour chart now, is not giving you a clear direction of where the market would like to go. Okay, the 3 lines are not moving very clearly upwards. They are not clear, they're not even moving clearly downwards as well. All right, okay, so that's on the 4 hour chart. And then we have got, let's say, okay, give me a second. Now when you look into the daily chart, that's basically things are a little different. Still, it is not clear on the based on the still not clear based on the moving averages itself. Okay, as you can see, they are above, and you know, it's trying to challenge the EMA lines, but the EMA lines are entangling here between the 50 and 100, so they're not really clear to the upside. But looking at price action itself, looking at the behavior of these candles, we can see that we have got upward pressure. Why? Because we have got a lot of higher lows, and higher lows are actually bouncing off from the EMAs as well here. As you can see, 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, and then now 5, and then we've got that little bullish candle. So we do have, if you're looking at this angle here, we do have a little bit of appreciation efforts by the bulls. Okay, they are going upwards, following the from this point itself. We've got higher and higher lows as well, all the way up here. Okay, so prices 1.1330 has reached 30 now. Earlier on was about 27, 28, 29, and now it's 30. So let's look at whether or not we have got more upward movement by longish candles, and it will be good to actually look into the 50 area. Okay, the other thing as well is always when you look at prices now, look at concentration areas. Try to draw your support resistance zone. Okay, now close to this area here, we do have something here. Okay, we also do have something here, and as we look left more on the 4-hour, on the daily chart itself, we could see a lot of concentration of candles, support and resistance in this area here. So once I've chosen, let's choose the one here as a family of candle that I would like to draw that zone. Okay, and then we can adjust as we go on. If I choose that green candle there, the body of that green candle, and then the wick of the green candle, I've got a sort of zone. Now that is a zone that prices are challenged at the moment with. Okay, so prices has to go above that zone. That zone is quite a significant zone. Let's see. If we adjust this further and use the middle, this group of candles here, and use this middle green candle and adjust using the wick of that candle instead, then I've got a wider zone, and this is actually a zone that would be something I need to look at, whether or not this zone here has been penetrated only by longish candles, and I can see that we've got very big candles penetrating through. We've also got lots of support, resistance, and all that. If we go on to the 4-hour chart, we're still looking at the Euro USD, guys. Okay, so Euro USD on the 4-hour chart now. Now on the 4-hour chart, you can see, following that zone itself, we can definitely look into longish candle penetrating through that zone. Okay, that's your support resistance zone. We indeed have got loads of support here, resistant area. Okay, if I pull that further, I can see more resistance going on here. And there's a very nice one here, as you can see, right on the dot, and then a big movement down. Okay, so definitely the prices, that zone there could actually be categorized as a very strong, significant zone, and that is between, let me just, 1.1323 to 1.1375. So 75 very close to the 80, 23 very close to the 20 seg number. So that that 50 over pips, sort of 40 plus to 50 plus pips window or zone is quite a significant area. So that is also a good area to look at, meaning you would want to make a better decision once prices have crossed above that zone, penetrating through, making a nice pattern, or coming under that zone, under 1.1323. So it should be under the 20 seg number at 1.1310. Then we can see more movement. We can also see that more, how do you call that, room to the downside only if it reaches 1.1310 area. Okay, to give you more confidence to the downside for the euro versus the dollar. But to give you more confirmation, of course, we talked about the price just now, 1.1350 onwards, and then once it crossed the 1.380 above as well, then we've got more confidence to the upside. Okay, now let's look at what's going on now, meaning now as in shortest time frame on the 5-minute chart. Okay, looking at what I can see here it is actually still on the upside above all three lines, but we've got a bit of entanglement going on, so there is still some uncertainty in the market there. It's not fully on momentum. The market is not fully on momentum, as I can see. Perhaps investors are actually still waiting for more confidence. Okay, definitely we've got a bit of a nice angle to the upside. We've also got appreciation or bullishness with the candles itself, okay, which is a good sign. But now would be the time that we could look for potential upside, what do you call that, upside pattern as well, if there are any pattern. Okay, because why upside? Because we're looking at the potential to the upside. We have seen a lot of movement to the upside. We have seen prices as well in between that zone, but we want to look at potential patterns to the upside, and only after it goes to a certain level, after the 1.1350 and above, we can then take our entry based on that price. Okay, so here itself on the 4-hour, let's I'll just go into the daily first so I can look at whether or not there are potential pattern. At the moment, I do not see a really clear pattern going on, but if at all on a daily chart, there may be a potential downside move here. Okay, but there may be a correction, because the reason being there may be a potential of a Z-like pattern here. Okay, but that's far too low for that C to D, so I'm not, hence the reason I'm not that confident on a nice pattern. The pattern is not looking that great because I don't find a lot of confluence. I don't find AB equals CD, you know, things like that. So I try to stay away for now by looking at what would happen from in the zone. In the zone is really important, because you've got a lot of unpredictability going on in the market, because the market itself is waiting for something as far as I can see. So if they are waiting for something, you should be waiting as well. Okay, because if you enter the market now, then you're playing the range at the moment, the range between the zone for the Euro USD, because that also gives us the hint that a lot of movement to the upside has already happened. So whether or not there's a second round to the upside, we need to first wait for price confirmation above the psych number of 50 for the Euro US dollar. Okay, then we get a better play with the market. So perhaps starting a new trading day tomorrow, we will be able to see to enter the Euro USD, and perhaps not to enter as yet, unless you want to actually range trade in within here, which I feel could actually be risky, but you do have a bit of room between now and the 50 psych level. Okay, but again, that's very if you want to buy, but I feel that buying at this stage is really risky, not only because it's not under the 20 psych number, that's one reason, but the most important thing is we've got a bit of obstacle there on the 50, and it has just bounced off from the 50 moving average, exponential moving average. So that is the risk area. Okay, that's for Euro US dollar. I'd like to ask you guys about your GBP USD trade. I know that has been going on for really long as well, especially if we have been looking at a longer term, but there's quite a number of traders, including myself, have gained with GBP dollar on a shorter time frame as well, on a downside, because we are looking at a huge W-like pattern, as we have talked about, and I think I better clear off all the lines to make it clear. Let's just release. Could you guys tell me about your current GBP US dollar? Any thoughts on that, or any questions about GBP versus the dollar? We do indeed have a bit of a how do you call that, appreciation a lot, but that only confirms a very big W-like pattern as well. So the downside is indeed happening. Okay, so that is your ABCD previously. Then I've pulled, if I'm not mistaken, from quite high a point, either here, okay, or higher point, to make that a W, and indeed it's actually stopped at a D level here. Okay, and now it's making that downward move. All right, So that downward move could still be targeted at either 50% of this or 61.8 of C to D, okay, to be your target, and it still remains at the same area. All right, so that is for the GBP dollar. A lot of traders have been asking me about gold, and I want to point out something about gold for today. Give me a second. Let me erase all these drawings. Once you've got your pairs that you want me to look at, we can take a look at that. But for now, we'll just go into gold just to give you a bit of pointers on gold itself. Okay, now gold, there's a bit of an interesting find in terms of pattern. Okay, I'm looking at 1 hour chart for gold. All right, I would like to just draw this for you first before anything else, before labeling it properly. There's definitely a sort of ABCD here, but most importantly we've got a sort of a W. Okay, there is definitely a bit of turnaround here expected. Okay, but we'll look into that in much detail. Give me a second. All right, now if I zoom in on the 1 hour chart here, that looks to me visually like quite a nice sort of pattern. Okay, an a B somewhere here, C, and then D somewhere there. All right, but let's start off with the ABCD first. Okay, so I go on to the highest point there. Okay, and all the way up, it came all the way down and it touched there, 78.6. But that 78.6 is really nice and significant, okay, from all the way up here. All right, so I label that now for gold on the 1 hour chart as AB here. Okay, that's the highest point at the moment. It went upwards, returned around this area and went up again, so that's a higher point, higher high compared to this one here. All right, so then I double click that one. Oh, let me just make that a little bit more. I take that all the way here. Okay, so this is where we could see a bit of confluence. There's some matching going on. There is indeed in this area that prices has begun to sort of create more wicks in the candle, as you can see here as well, and then weakening maybe. All right, but let's look at all potential. And a minute. Now we're concentrating on this one first, on this pattern here, W pattern. Okay, for the 1 hour chart, so that we can gauge how far more would gold depreciate and fall first before it actually goes up again. So I want that room. I want to look at the room first. Okay, I want you to be very careful in looking at this as a W pattern. Why? Because this W pattern signals, if I complete my ABCD and pull this longish move, this highest point, as I can see all the way down here, I get a bit of a W pattern, and this W pattern signals a risk, meaning most of the traders, what they will do is that they look at this appreciation of candle in the 1 hour chart. They see this long candle, and if they read candles a lot, they might get tempted to actually think that we've got a lot more room to go up because it started to go up more. But from a W-like pattern angle or perspective, we're looking at a bit of a threat, a risk, saying that yes, it may go up, but also yes, it may go down too. But from a patterns perspective, it may be time for it to go down in that area. Okay, now I'll use this will be my X around here. Okay, so I've got X here. This is my W-like pattern, and W patterns, once it reaches the D, is meant to be going downwards because of a bearish-like pattern. Okay, it's a bearish pattern. So I've got my A around here, correct? Now, as usual, your ABCD pattern. Okay, B and then C. So D is around there. Okay, D. Now I'll just go back here. Now let's pull a Fibonacci. Now when we trade ABCD, of course we will do the cross between AD and things like that, which is as per normal, okay, as usual. But now I've got a W pattern, so I will also rely on this move. Before I do the move, I will use Fibonacci first because just now when I would like to predict or forecast D, I would need to rely on C. So C touch at the 78.6 on the dot, correct? So what we do next is we pull the B to C. So once we pull the B to C, we look for 1.272. Okay, as you can see, they're really close to the line that we have just drawn earlier on. So there you go. That's another option where D could actually go to. Okay, now this is trading the ABCD. Now we use the W-like pattern, so we need to pull as well X to A in order for us to predict the D as well, and the D could be predicted at either 61.8 or 78.6 as an area. So I've got my 78.6 here, okay, and I put that as another possibility for D. This is based on the W-like pattern, okay, and once I've done that, I could also do another very simple move, is to pull my X to the C as well. Now this is to mark where I could enter a short. Okay, when I pull X to C, I could actually get a better idea of where I could enter a short from. Okay, and I usually pick the 78.6 or 61.8. In this case, I picked the one that was closest to the price now, and I didn't pick the 61.8 because 61.8 was further down, so I don't bother with that. Okay, but in this case, because I pull X to C, I'll just mark 78.6. I don't need to mark 61.8 actually, but I'll just mark for practice purposes so that we might look at that as a potential sell off area later on as well. So I'll just mark that in a different color, okay, as a potential sell area once prices reaches that area. But of course I would then adjust that based on psychological number. As you can see, that is bang on the psychological level 1282.80, so 0.70 would be an ideal selling area. Okay, but all that, what we then do is we'll take off that, and I like using all these lines here except for this green line. Green line is an entry sort of area for a sell later on, okay, but these red lines here that are quite close to one another, I create a zone. Okay, that is my PRZ zone. So the PRZ zone basically is a turnaround zone, meaning potential reversal zone. Okay, so I've got a reversal zone. So this is a sort of warning or alert to tell you traders, for those who are buying the gold, be really careful, because if this was a W-like pattern, it is about time for it to make a bit of correction to the downside first before it goes up any higher. Okay, so this is important for you guys to know. Now, if I take my C to D, okay, from the highest point I can see here, and I mark off 50 or 61.8, okay, I'll mark that rate again. Give me a second. Okay, I'll just explain what I'm doing. Give me a second. That 50% or 61.8% of C to D would be your ideal take profit zone to the downside if you're actually selling under this zone. So you'll be selling under this zone to be safer under 1282.70, and then you are taking profit above this zone at 1275 and above. Play with the side numbers, and you can actually see that to be 0.60 instead. So that means if you're at all selling, an ideal selling area, give you more confident of selling area would be under 1282.70, okay, which is under the 80 side number here, and you are taking profit at 1275.60, which is above the 50 side number. Okay, so that is for your goal. That is for the sell type order. Because why we're doing that? Because this is the pattern that we can actually look at the moment, completing already at the D point. Okay, so it's really really risky if you're guessing and saying that there may be more room for an upside move. There may be more room, but it's just not the time as yet. There's still room for correction. There's still a risk for correction. But again, we want to look at how the goal is reacting with that zone at the moment. Okay. Any questions at all about goal at this stage? Please feel free to ask if you've got more questions. Give me your idea give me an idea of what you're trading at the moment, with what price range, how much you're struggling at the moment with, if at all it's going against you, but at least you can see the risk potential. Okay, of how much more it could fall. If you're on the buy side, how much more it could fall. It could fall much more. Okay, if at all it goes under that zone, it may fall and go and challenge this 1282.80 area as well. Okay, now if I, using the ABCD of this, I want to look at the cross point. Okay, and that cross point, just to get an idea of the significant support resistant area. So I've got this cross point there, so that is also another area. Okay, it becomes another area for me to consider as significant support resistance. So here you go, you got the zone made up of 3 lines now. Here for the prices, if basically this, between this zone here, between this green line here and this red line where I'm drawing this box, this is a room, short-term room for you to sell and take profit in within that area there. Okay, for a sell. All right, not yet for a buy, because it still doesn't look like it at the moment from a patterns perspective. As you can see clearly, you've got more strength. We are now in a live market. We've got more strength, as you can see, right? On downside, you've got the candle, bearish candle, elongating, you know, getting stronger to the downside. So let's see what's going on. Let's see whether or not, I mean, this line that I've just drawn here as well is giving me signs of support resistance here. So let's look at what's happening at this green line as well. If it does go under this green line, more possibility for it to reach these 3 red line area. And because these 3 red line area, as you can see, is also capturing the 3 EMA lines, so it's a very good area to bounce off from as well. Okay, so this is what you need to watch out for. Okay, now on the 4-hour chart, we still have goal above all 3 lines. Okay, but the 3 lines, as we can see, the 3 EMA lines, the 3 EMAs here, the 50, 100 and 200, they're still on a sideways, you can see. Okay, so there are uncertainty in the market even in the medium term. Okay, but overall we've got prices above all 3 lines, so there are some potential on the upside. If you go into the daily chart, yes, daily chart a little clearer. There is still daily chart, meaning longer term giving you more hints to the upside, but then it's a matter of time. So the question to ask is by when. Okay, so all we can do right now is to look at shorter term, look at patterns like what we've done earlier on. There is a W-like pattern signaling a downward trend. Okay, so that correction is happening now on the 1-hour chart. Okay, there's potential of it happening on 1-hour chart. We go on to the 5-minute chart. Okay, let's look at whether or not there are confirmation. Indeed, there are confirmation still on the 1-hour chart. There on the 5-minute chart, as you can see, that zone is already under that zone. Okay, prices as you can see on the 5-minute chart. So that is giving you an indication from now until the 1-hour chart. There's indeed some strength to the downside. Okay, you've got an A, B, C, D happening here as well. Okay, so that is to watch out for. And we initially have drawn this purple line as well, so that is a trend line, so it might, if it does actually make more resistance here, on the short term it might actually come down to this area here, or the area for the 50 moving average, as you can see on the 5-minute chart. So that's for gold, guys. I hope it's clear for you guys on what to do. As of now, the pattern is W on the 1-hour chart, so it is actually signaling downward pressure or the ending of the D point, and it is in within the potential reversal zone. Okay, so don't look too much to the upside as of now for gold, because we're looking at short-term daily trades first. Of course, in the long term, there's a lot of room for the upside and all that. As we hear the news, there's a lot of upside for gold and all that, but we're just collecting all previous information. But we need to trade with the now. We need to trade for now and trade with the movement and the market. At the moment, we need to trade corrections if we want to, okay, because corrections happening at the moment. Based on patterns, we see a W-like pattern, okay, and the W-like pattern is actually signaling an end at the D point coming downwards. And then I've got the green line marked for you, telling you that more selling pressure would go on after it goes under the 1282.80, giving you some sell opportunity if you want for gold and take profit here above the 1275.43 area, above it. Okay, so that's the area that I've marked as your trading opportunity on the sell side for gold. Once only if prices reach that area and go under that green line, and you could start taking profit above this red line here. Okay, so that's for gold. Now if we go on to, let's see, Euro JPY, because we've seen that to be highest in terms of movement in percentage of change that we have seen as well. Now we're looking at resistance. We're looking at uncertainty for Euro JPY. Why? We have got firstly, when you look at it, we can see that most recent movement, we can see some nice angle to the upside, but it's challenged by the 3 entanglement of the EMA lines, and these lines that are entangled, they are also moving on a sideways, so there is a bit of a uncertainty going on at the moment. Okay, now the other thing as well is, if we want to look at something here, we may be able to make a bit of a forecast of a Z-like pattern going on here. Okay, so that would be your A to B and then C to D here. So if at all prices were to appreciate, it might appreciate a little bit more to that area there. Okay, but that's usually the 50+% area. So if I take that, this is on the Euro JPY 1-hour chart, guys. Okay, so if I pull that on the long side, I want to aim at the 50 area. Okay, meaning now prices have sort of stuck at that area there. Okay, but there is a potential, if at all it start appreciating, it might appreciate to that area here, because there are potential of an, how do you call that, a Z-like pattern here, but a bearish Z-like pattern, which actually mean this is how it looks, Z-like pattern. Okay, right, so your Z-like pattern is a bearish pattern, meaning it makes up that move, comes down this way, may have potential to go to this area. So this area is marked by the potential price of 123.62 area to 123.65 area. This two horizontal rate lines. So if at all prices were to appreciate further, it would appreciate and try to go through. This is why it's behaving this way, really slow and all that, because we've got 3 lines, 3 obstacles, 3 EMAs to cross and penetrate through. So perhaps you guys want to also draw a significant support resistant area to give you an idea what kind of zone prices needs to penetrate through before it can actually go up even more. So if at all it does go up, if it follows this Z-like pattern, then it might turn around in this area here to go downwards. Okay, so if it does turn around, let's say it goes up a bit more, and then your sell could then start anywhere under the 2 lines I've marked, and you can then take the 50 as your take profit for the sell area. Okay, that is if you want to short it once you see the appreciation to that level. It would only complete that Z-like pattern if prices reach this area and then come down to this area potentially. Okay, I'll just mark this to be a different color to indicate a sell, but your take profit for the sell area here. Right, so just to confirm again, I just want to pull this one here and look at what sort of area. 113. Okay, it's good if it's actually this peak area is close to the 113 area, because that then theoretically meets the criteria for a Z-like pattern. Okay, it's usually a move, a Z-like pattern actually moves all the way down, creates the Z pattern here. Okay, right, that usually is 50%. Okay, 50% of A to B. Okay, sorry, B to C, because your A is here actually, right? If it's a Z-like pattern, that's your B. Okay, this is your C, and this is your D. Alright, so usually AB equals CD here, and this is a Z-like pattern, so it's expected, if at all, to appreciate more to reach this area. If it does reach this area and then turn around, that confirms a completion at the D point for this Z pattern. Alright, so far it is actually making exactly that move coming down. Okay, this area, if I pull this we call it 0 or O. So when I pull the O to A, I get it at 113 area. So that sort of firstly confirmed that this is quite a significant Z-like pattern. Then when I pull this one all the way up here and I look at this as well, let's do that now. Okay, when I pull this one here, this A to B, I just want to look at where my C goes. It's actually also really close to the 200 moving average here, but it didn't really touch, but it's quite close. Didn't hang in between too much, so that's also a good criteria to how do you call that, to consider as a potential. Okay, so that's basically it on the Euro versus JPY. And if we go further on the 4-hour chart, as you can see, still a lot of challenge from challenges posted from the 3 EMAs as well. Okay, because prices going up, but then there's challenges there. Then if we look at daily chart, we could see that it's favoring the downside to the long term for Euro JPY. Okay, so this is what's playing at the moment. At the 1-hour chart, there's a bit of a corrective upward and then still signaling downward move. So my guess is they may be, if at all I want to look at the Z pattern really happening, I would like to first wait until prices go up to this area here before it comes down, and then trade the downside move to this area. Okay, all right, that's for the Euro JPY. Gold has actually gone really well, has actually gone skyward really well, as expected. We've mentioned that about 2 or 3 Mondays ago, if you guys could remember. I've also sent you guys WhatsApp messages and let you know about surprises in the oil, and they may just shoot up much more. Okay, there's a lot of geopolitics going on, a lot of politics more than geopolitics. So yes, it's expected to rise a lot. So this is basically what's happening at the moment. There's a lot of play with certain parts of the world, like Saudi Arabia as well, and this is basically what's happening at the moment, because there's geopolitics going on within the Middle Eastern countries, and because of the whole change of structure politically and economically in Saudi Arabia, and their biggest partner are the US as well. So they may be negotiating something. You might see the dollar going down and the oil, rising up and all that kind of thing, but still they are benefiting in some ways at the very back of the stage, which we cannot see. But this is what we can see now is reflected by that reform of that whole change in structure. It's a big change, structural, economic and political change that actually governs oil prices. Is a big impact on oil prices, especially in Saudi Arabia. So they have actually changed the structure, not only changed the structure, but internally given more favor for the kings or the royal family to gain more control to deciding anything has got to do with oil. Okay, so they've got more say. But as you know, there's a lot of inside story about within these Middle Eastern countries, they cannot get along with some. They're against the Iran, so they're competing against Iran, for example. Then you've got Turkey coming in, and then you've got the other oil-producing countries as well. So there is a lot of political play, but more a political play of power going on. Okay, so this is basically what's going on. So let's look at oil and look at whether or not we could see any sort of pattern going on. If at all we're looking at a potential, let's say a potential Z-like pattern, perhaps we can look at that move here, okay, right? And this would be a bearish, a bullish-like Z pattern. So anyway there, but let's say we take that as an A to B of the Z-like pattern. So we need to pull that downwards and look at where possibly could it actually end. At the moment, if I use this one here, perhaps a little bit more accurate as my Z pattern, okay, that's my AB, let's say, okay, and then I'll take this one all the way up to CD somewhere here, let's say. Now prices really close to the 161.8%. okay, so there is a bit of a chance for it to just touch a little bit more 161.8 or start to fall. Why fall? Because if this were to be a Z-like pattern, then it would actually fall from that point, let's say, to around this area here as a correction, 44.96 area. Okay, now it's at 47. Okay, but again, that fall may not be a straight line fall. Okay, that may be an A, B, C, D move here from this top here, because now this is my A, B, C, D. This ABCD is the ABCD for a Z-like pattern. Okay, but on the way down from C to D, it may make a lot of volatile moves downwards, but it usually creates an ABCD within this ABCD, another pattern, ABCD pattern here. Okay, so that means if it does start to fall, it might fall like this, correction as well, and then down. Okay, so then I've got an A, B, C, D move, C to D, and once that happens, then it may make a correction upwards. Okay, that's what's expected for oil at the moment. But again, we never know. Let's just see what's going on here. Okay, it's 47.71. okay, 47.70, let's say. So 0.70, we want to look at prices coming under 70 much more than it's already signaling some weakness already. It's under the 80 side number already anyway, so that's a good sign. So that may be telling you that a reversal may already start to happen according to the Z-like pattern that you see. Okay, I just want to check a couple of things. If I pull this one here, do I get 113? Yes, I do, roughly. Close, but not exactly. But let's measure this A to B and see where that one there basically is quite good, very close to the 161. So I'll still consider, I still put that as an option, meaning for those oil traders out there not to get overly excited to start buy as of now, because we've got a risk. The risk in accordance to the Z-like pattern is that yes, it's going up, but it's maybe time for it to start thinking to come down first. If it does come down, it'll come down in the form of an ABCD pattern, meaning there's a correction in between the move on the way down, okay, and then it'll make the upward move here. upwards. Okay, that's where the correction is. So let's look at this. It's really interesting. Let's look at, it's time for it to correct. It is actually weakening at the moment. Let's zoom in a little bit and we'll look at prices there. It may not be ready to just weaken now. Maybe it'll start to reach that area here, and then go above it a little bit and then make a downward move. Usually there is a play here with making you think that it will appreciate much more and make a trick move with a longish candle, and then the wick will come down. We never know. We'll just wait and see. Okay, especially very close to the site level as well. All right, 47, of course, very close to the 50, but then 0.71, that 0.71 is really close to the 80. So that itself gives you an indication of how things could just turn around because they are very close to the level as well. Okay, so if I just zoom in again and look into 4 hour. Of course, 1 hour we're looking at lots of movement to the upside, a lot of angle to the upside. Very nice movement for the EMAs on the upside for oil, signaling a lot of upward move. But again, upward move or downward move never actually happen in a straight line. So you need to understand that there are corrections happening. So here it may be about time for a correction very soon. Hence the reason I like trading with patterns, so that I can see it as a whole of what possibly or probably could happen, not will happen, a probability of it happening. Okay, so that gives me a picture of what I would be expecting in that area here. Okay, it's due for a fall, a correction in this area, so I know not to actually open my trade for the oil too big a trade, or to have a very big confidence that it will definitely just rise up. There's no will do kind of thing in this market. It's only expectations here. So there's an expectations of weakening here for it to follow through that C to D leg. Okay, whether or not it will definitely happen, we'll just have got to wait and see what it would what oil would do at this stage, whether or not to challenge that area up here, go a bit more and then come down, or start coming down as of now. But as what I could see, it still has a lot of room, a little bit more to the upside before it just tumbles down a bit more. Okay, because of the behavior of the candle as well. All right, okay, but we need price to confirm that as well. Okay, it might just go up to 85 or 80, 85, and then boom, downwards again. Okay, so we look at this, and 44-hour chart, again medium term, a lot of strength for the oil. Oil is looking like it's giving more room, and we have got clear indication of the 3 EMA lines all apart. There's no entanglement of the line, not so much uncertainty. This is a momentum trade. There is in momentum at the moment for oil, so there's a lot of potential to the upside. Look at the angle itself. The angle itself is really a clear angle to the upside. Okay, it's 1 o'clock and above, so definitely have got room, but maybe time to correct itself in the shorter time frame, and then continue upwards again. But watch out for the correction. The fall part before going up is what you need to expect always. Okay, just to question yourself where these corrections could potentially happen. The same for the daily chart long term. It is still signaling upward momentum due to the fact that prices candles are still above all 3 lines and giving you a nice angle upwards as well. Okay, so that's basically it. Now on the daily chart for the oil, you might want to look at potential Z-like pattern on a longer term as well. So when I pull this longish move downwards, if it does go upwards, okay, still I've got the 61.8 area here as a potential for a turnaround downwards. Okay, so that's really important for us to look at. But usually if it's Z-like pattern, we're looking at the 50 area as the place where it would just turn around. Okay, so if I pull that one there, maybe not much on the daily chart, but daily chart is still signaling upward momentum above all 3 lines. Now we need to look at the price and the pattern that we've just drawn based on the 1 hour chart. Okay, as you can see, look at the last candle. How is it behaving? Look at it, 47.74, right? It's trying to, but again, it's very close to the point 80. So it might just go up a bit more on the dot of the 80, come back down, or 85 or something like that coming down. Okay, but let's see where it stops, okay, before it comes down, or does it actually come down? And on the way down, I would like you to notice once it reaches that angle and then make the movement downward, I would like you traders to notice news change, because now, as of now, you look into news as of this morning, last week, and a couple of days ago and all that. What do you see in the news? It's all about the positiveness of oil, correct? Oil going up, going up. There's no reasons at the moment to push it down. It's saying that it's surging, it's going up, it's a bullish ruling and all that. But I would like you to observe and look at this with the pattern and with the news, okay? Meaning once it reaches this area and you see prices turn around, does the news also change? Does the news change to negative or not once it's trading from C to D? And I want you to look at the price change. So this is my A, this is my B, C and D, correct? D around here, yeah? So from B to C, there was only positive news. But I would like you see, we could see a bit of change, a bit of depreciation of price happening as we speak now, okay? I would like you to now look at it from now on, whether or not we start getting news that are negative for oil, okay? Or very positive for US dollar. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, I want you to notice these things. I want you to question it. Why is it that that news would actually change at this area when we can see this kind of pattern going on? All right. Okay, guys. So we've covered a few pairs. Covered with you with some areas to look at for pairs as well. Have you guys got any questions or any pairs that you would like me to take a look at before we wrap up for today's live session? Anything that you would like to ask based on the pair that you're trading, or any questions regarding your current trades or open positions, or any pairs that you may be wanting to look at opening very soon? Yeah, let's see, we've got questions coming up. Okay. All right. Osama, I've got a question about dollar index. How to trade Forex with dollar index? It's about the same way in terms of execution of the trade, Osama, but we're talking about it going through, if I'm not mistaken, I don't trade dollar index so much, but through this platform here at Orbex, you're looking at some instruments that may have under indexes contractual, so you might actually find it to have a bit of an expiry date. But for you to get very clear guidance on how you trade it, because if it is your first time and all that, I would suggest for you to go onto Orbex live chat onto our website. You click on Orbex live chat, so our support group could guide you exactly before you place any trades. If it is your first time on dollar indexes, I would suggest and advise you to get their guidance and help first, so that you are clear on dates of expiry, on the terms, also contractual sizes, so you get a better clear picture of what they are, and they may be our support team may be able to also guide you through certain links on the website that gives you clear indication of each instruments that comes under the indices as well as indexes. Okay, so if you could, Usama, feel free to go into our live chat if you want now as well, just to get their guidance, and I'm sure they will guide you through to give you a better explanation on how you can trade with dollar indexes or any other instruments that you can actually see under indexes or any other other instruments. Okay. Yes. Secondly, you're also asking me, actually some traders use dollar index to get some ideas. Okay. Is this what you meant, or you want to trade. I see. Okay, so these are two different questions. Okay, so the first question, I thought you meant you wanted to trade the dollar index, and how do you trade dollar index? Okay, so here, yes, if you want to use correlation, of course the dollar index would be the closest one in terms of a correlative instrument to look at with the dollar. Okay, so you can always go into Google as well and type US dollar index correlation, and you'll find some information there. And these are correlation, meaning it gives you an idea of what other instruments may be negatively or positively correlated to the dollar index. Okay, what you could do is find a correlation first, Osama, meaning you type it onto Google, US dollar index correlation, and then you look at what first few articles you can find out, just to find out how it works first, okay, roughly, and what other pairs or instruments may be correlated very highly with. And then what you do is, if you at all find it correlated to certain pairs, you find patterns in certain pairs that you want to trade, and you find it as well on the US dollar index. Okay, all right, hope that's clear. All right, guys, I wonder whether you guys have got any more questions. Thank you, Osama, no problems. All right, any other questions at all? If not, then I will be wrapping up and seeing you again next Monday. If you've got questions later on, you can always write me an email on kenny@allbacks.com. Okay, get in touch with me, ask your questions there as well, not a problem. I'll try helping you as much as I'm able. And definitely some movement this week, perhaps some tricks as well, because there's a lot of trickery going on within the geopolitical as well as economical arena. Okay, because a lot of inside dealings, and a lot of politicians are meeting as well, visiting countries. They may be looked as enemies, but they go and meet each other, they go and sign deals. So a lot of things are going on. At this stage, we are not so deep into that, knowing exactly what the CIA knows and all that. So we want to actually look into what are possible for us as traders to look at. So I want you to look at patterns, of course, but I want you to look at where they're actually paying a lot of attention in terms of the trades for the week. Okay, type onto Google keywords as well and click on the news tab. Okay, so that is actually quite an interesting find. Sometimes you get it like this, as opposed to just typing something and look at the all tab. You can always go specifically like gold forecast, let's say. Okay, gold forecast, right? And then click on that, and then click on news. Okay, and here is when you can look at latest sort of news. And we've got here 4 hours ago, but that's from another forex related company, I guess. And then but just look at what they're actually saying, you know, gold, for example. Or you can always type gold prices or gold itself and look into news. 9 hours ago, central bankers, wisdom faltered as gold holdings surged 25%. Now, I don't know whether you guys still remember me sending you a message from South Africa telling you that we got 44 billion worth of stock, investors pulling out their investment from stocks. Okay, so they are taking out the money, their money, from stocks and putting it into other places. So I want you to also look at potential patterns, because I remember some of you traders have got questions about whether or not that money that comes out of stocks would really be pushing US dollar price going up. So I would like you guys to also do a bit of a homework in looking at patterns, correlations, as you've asked me earlier on, correlated pair, related with stocks, S&P 500, FTSE 500, as well as earlier on Osama have mentioned as well about US indexes. So try looking at patterns and try looking up these instruments and type on Google and look for their correlation. Okay, try looking up those articles that are the latest ones as well. Okay, just so that you, and also type them and look up in news as well, because sometimes when you type something and you click on the tab news, you'll get more recent information, and usually these recent informations are the one that has been just recently broadcasted on Bloomberg or CNBC or CNN as well. So they are like big areas. So if the subject that you want, let's say Osama have actually mentioned about US index, you can easily type US dollar index on Google and then click on news, the news tab, so that you will get the recent ones concerning the US index. Okay, so it's better to do it that way so that you get anything that's correlated to that. So if I type US index now and then markets, okay, let's say, you see you've got 12th of May itself. Okay, you've got all this one here, 13th of May. Why did U.S. stock indices rise? Okay, it's a bit of a clue there, for example. Okay, so this U.S. indices, for example, index different, indices different, but indices rise has got to do with Amazon prices as well. Why Amazon prices? Which other stock prices are connected to Amazon prices? You see, so it gives you an idea. So it's a bit of a learning curve for you. So all these ones is best for you to write it down. You know what correlation you might end up having a network of correlated pairs you find every day. Okay, and then you write it down so that you know that if you find pattern in one chart, you may be able to find pattern in the other chart and start making that other chart to be confirming your current analysis for the pair that you want to trade. Okay, so that's basically it. Look at 13. Today is the 16th. 2 hours ago, Asian markets closed higher after China data disappoints. So you know that got more disappointment in Chinese data. Okay, so Chinese data is disappointing. It may actually then impact Australia's economy as well. Okay, so then that might then give us some more indication. All right, we've got AUD USD here, as you can see, very strong downside move for Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Even on the 1 hour chart, we have got a bit of a rise there, but overall on the medium term as well as the long-term daily chart, we're looking at a lot of depreciation of it, okay, of the of the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. All right, let's see whether I can find something here. All right, maybe a bit of a Z-like pattern starting from here to here and then there. A bit of a rise expected around this area. So indeed it is happening now, 7303, a bit of rise, but that rise may be only about 50% limited here, but it's still hinting a lot of downside potential move for the AUD US dollar. Okay, and that saying that may marry to the fact or the probability of gold prices as well, because gold, China, Australia, they are all correlated. Okay, they all go the same direction. China's down, Australia down, Australian down, gold down. All these three down, US up. Okay, so what else? USD CHF. USD CHF is highly negatively correlated to the Euro US dollar. Okay, so we look at one pattern that's happening in the US, in the Euro USD, we might see opposite pattern in the USD CHF. All right. Okay guys, since I don't see any more questions coming from you traders, I think it's time for me to wrap it up and see you guys again next week, Monday. All right, at the same time, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. my time, which is 9 p.m. Malaysia, and it's 2 p.m. GMT. Okay, all right guys, so all the very best, happy pipping to all, and I'd like to see you again next Monday. If not, for the ones who have registered for the geopolitical series, it will be part 2 tomorrow. Again, it's not the same time. For the series 1, it is at 6 p.m. so it's 4 GMT. So remember guys, for the geopolitical part 2 is 4 GMT, which is 6 p.m. my time. All right. Okay, guys, thank you once again, and happy pipping. Okay, and any questions, feel free to write me to my email, kenny@orbex.com. Thank you again. Bye-bye. Take care.